So what are we doing here in Vegas, Cameron? Do you want to tell people what we're doing here in Vegas?
I do want to let them know what's going on here in Vegas.
So why don't you do that?
Well, currently we're doing an interview overlooking the Vegas Strip.
Right.
There should be a water show that happens sometime soon behind us.
A water show happens in Vegas.
At Bellagio.
What else happens in Vegas?
Whatever happens here actually stays here, as you know.
Does it stay here?
It hasn't actually yet for me. Everything I do here pretty much gets out.
I think like right when we started to do this movie, there was like a whole story about you and your Vegas, sort of like being out in Vegas, and I emailed you saying, hey, what are you doing in Vegas? And I already knew.
You already knew.
Because
Why did you
everyone
even
knows.
ask me if you already knew?
So does anything stay in Vegas?
Actually, here in Vegas, what we're doing, we hope gets out into the world, actually.
Right.
We don't want anything that happens here to actually stay here, because we're making a movie, my friend.
We're making
what
a movie
we just
in
did,
Vegas.
literally, like, what, 3 hours ago, was some of the funnest stuff I've done on film in a long time.
Yeah, it was a good time. We got married in Vegas.
We got married in
on
Vegas.
film.
That's what we did here in Vegas. Vegas.
Vegas. If you had to describe my character in the movie, what would you say? Like, just like the main traits of my character in the movie.
He's such a dick.
That's one.
He's a total ass, and he smells.
Okay, that's two.
No, that was 3. Dick, ass, smells.
Oh, right. Okay, that's great.
Do you think that's
I think that that's a
accurate?
fair character breakdown. All right,
You
so
know?
you've got a friend,
Yes.
and you're dating some guy, let's say hypothetically,
Mm-hmm.
and your friend's like, don't like him. Is it over?
No, you have to take those. You have to learn your own lessons in life, don't you?
Okay, so now you introduce.
If my
now
friends,
you're
though,
like,
depends on
give
which one of my friends
now you're
says
like,
it. Mm-hmm.
give them another chance. They're a good person. This is a good person. Whatever. And they're like, no, it's not happening. No bueno. Do you cut it off?
No.
Okay, so because guys have this rule called bros before hoes, where if the bros say no, then
Right.
you gotta.
Right. But that's.
But they've got about a month to do it because eventually they're all gonna say no.
Right.
But like within the first month, if the bros are like then you gotta close down. You gotta close shop. Girls
Really?
don't have that. Like chicks before.
I mean, we all
Dicks,
have to
I
chime
think.
in, absolutely.
Right.
Chicks before dicks, absolutely.
I just made that up. It rhymed. Do you
I
ever
think
do
this
like
is-
sign language? Like,
We do that.
oh, you do? Okay, so there's the cutoff point.
There's the.
Okay, so you get that signal right off the bat, but
That-
you're not so mad at the guy.
Well,
what do you
I
do?
am.
Do you kill it? Do you cut it
That
off?
usually happens if it's not the guy. That's usually the guy you bump into at the bar.
That's the bump in.
That's the bump in.
You
The
call
bump
him the
in.
bump
The
in.
bump in.
Okay,
The
all
guy
right.
that you bump into the bar and you're thinking about giving your phone number to.
Okay,
Or you're
right.
thinking about like kind of like getting
Absolutely.
chatting up a little
I
bit.
call
or
that
letting
one the
him in.
looker.
Ah, the looker.
I call it the looker.
Right.
Yeah,
no.
the look from across the way where you're like, oh,
Right,
hi.
and then- yeah.
We're looking at each other. That's called the looker.
I like it.
to
And
me.
then your friends, what
You
what do
call it the bump in.
What does your friend say when, like, what's the call on that?
Oh, guys, it's like open game. Like
Right.
it does, like,
Guys don't judge the first night. They're
no,
like,
no.
hit it, hit it,
The
hit it,
first
hit it.
night's like closed.
They're
it's
like, do it. Seal the
it's
deal. Doesn't matter if she's psycho.
ABC. Always be closing. Always be closing. Always be closing.
That's awesome.
That's guys.
Okay, so but see, girls, we're not. We have the whether or not it's gonna be the psycho, because we've had like, you have that. The
Guys
are,
aren't
guys
looking
are
for
harder to
relationships.
get-
Guys are looking for
no,
tonight.
but you know what? Seriously, I think guys are harder to get rid of than girls are.
Harder to get rid of.
Yeah, like, so say, yes, absolutely. If there's a guy that you're not, if you engage a guy just a little bit, if you give him anything, he's gonna try to close the deal. So he's just gonna keep going. He's the ABC in it out. He's like, always be trying to close the deal. So he's not gonna let you go if he thinks he has a chance, if you give him a little bit. But
As he shouldn't.
Exactly. So we have to be more cautious when we engage. We can't go in and close the deal right away. We have to make sure that we even want this guy on our jock, okay? Because we don't want to have to be trying to get rid of him when there's something over there that looks better.
See, I think our criteria is just far lower just in general,
Yeah.
as far as like we know from based on across the room, we don't even have to have a conversation to know as a guy, for the most part.
Yeah, I know.
So there's a code. There's supposed to be what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas is the same,
Right.
right? And it's supposed to be like a code among people that you can do whatever you want in Vegas.
And it
And
never
it stays
leaves
in
here.
Vegas.
Exactly.
Right. So it's almost like going to confession while you're doing
All the bad things you
the
shouldn't
worst
be doing.
things in the world.
Exactly. That whatever you do, you can get away with doing here.
Right.
Debauchery is safe here.
Right. So basically, it's like a caveat to do horrible things.
Basically.
Right. Here's the thing. I've been drunk a lot, and I've only been married once. And I wasn't drunk when I got married. How do you get so drunk? How does that happen to people? How do you get, where's the trigger point where you're like, where you think getting married is the great idea? Where's that at? Like, what number of drink?
I don't know.
What's your BAL have
I've
to be
never
to
done it.
assume that that's a good idea?
I don't
To
know
marry
the
a
answer to
stranger.
that, but I have to say that I hope that at some point, I would like
I mean,
to
it
get.
happens.
It does. It happens often, apparently. We should have that number. How many people get drunk and get married here that are total strangers?
Good number to have.
I want to get married at least 4 times in Vegas in my lifetime. I don't have to be drunk to do it. I just want to get 4 times at least married in Vegas in my lifetime.
Why 4?
I don't know. It sounds like a good, strong
It's a
number.
good number.
That's been the number in my head for a while now.
4 is a great number.
It's a good number. How do you feel about it? I mean, how do you feel about people getting married? Do you think it's a good idea? Think it's a bad idea?
You know, most of the great decisions that will ever be made are the illogical ones. So I think it's clearly a good thing. It has to be a good thing.
Because people come together for a reason,
But
right?
I don't know that it's a great idea.
I don't think it's really an idea. I don't think people go, let's go get drunk and marry a stranger. I think it just happens. So it's not some idea that happens that like somebody
So maybe
has
that
in their
is
mind.
what happens in Vegas.
That's
If
what
it
happens.
It just happens.
It just
So that's the excuse. Like, we're in Vegas. It just happened.
It just happened. It just happened.
Things happen.
I don't think it's a bad thing. I think, like you said, everybody's gonna learn. Anybody who does it is gonna learn a lesson from it. So maybe you needed to learn that lesson at that time in your life, right?
Maybe. I mean, maybe you just, I don't know, the priests drink. How do they allow that? Like, how does it, like,
They're
how
not
could
priests that
they're
are
not
marrying
priests?
people. No, they're ministers. They're like you, just ordained.
All right, that's right. I did marry people. I was drunk, so.